Welcome in to our webinar this week. We are excited to jump into this topic, talking about performance management essential. Before I talk about that, we'll do some introductions. If we haven't met, my name is Cody. I am the Director of Integrations here at Payfluence, and we have Remick.
Hey, I'm Remick, and I am the Client Success Manager at Payfluence.
Awesome. So, as we mentioned, today we are talking about Performance Management Essential, which is a newer product if you're not familiar with it. That's why we want to do a webinar on it and explain kind of what it offers. For those of you, again, who may be familiar with our other performance management review offering, Share and Perform, we're going to talk about this product and then kind of show the differences between the two. We think they both have their place depending on what you're doing and what you need it for. Just to be clear on a couple things at the top, this is, like I said, an add-on product that really just flows directly into iSolve that we're going to see. And then we're going to break this up. So Remick's going to walk us through what it looks like to do the administrative side of setting up a review first. So thinking of you all as the administrators, what it looks like to set up the review, kind of the bones of that, the questions associated with it. And then I'll show more of the employee side and the manager supervisor side. Just, what does that employee experience look like? So if you have questions along the way, please drop them in the chat. We will kind of catch them all at the end. And then, of course, stick around because we will do a giveaway at the very end. So
Perfect.
that I'm going to exit out of this, pull up our iSolve.
So we are showing the admin view right now. So as an admin, you will have access to the Performance Management Dashboard. And in this dashboard, there are 3 tabs. We have a Reviews tab, which is your actual reviews that are live. And then you also have access to those past reviews there. We have a Rating Scale tab and a Template tab. So it's really nice and an easy dashboard to view. And so with this, I'm going to start with the Rating Scales tab. So this is the first step when you want to start to set up a review. You're going to set up a rating scale. And a rating scale can be, 1 to 3, 1 to 5. 1 would be the lowest. And so we are dog themed in here. So 1 is, someone knocked over the trash can, and 3 is tail wagging amazing. So this just shows you, this is a 1 to 3 rating scale, and so you can do whatever you need for your company. So that's an example of that. So you make a rating scale. The second step would be a template. This is where you're actually going to put your questions together. You would click create a template, and I will show you an example. So for this template, we have questions for the employee and the supervisor, and you can have different sections of the template as well. And so in Performance Management Essential, supervisors and managers can fill out the reviews as well as the employee. So you can choose to have the employee and supervisor, or the employee and manager, or employee, supervisor, and manager, whatever your organization is set up like. This will let you do that. And so this rating scale is 1 to 5, and we have the different questions. You're just truly adding whatever questions you have in there, setting it up in different sections. And there you go. That is it. It's just the questions. And then with that as well, you can also set up different reviews. So maybe you want review for job A, the maintenance staff. You want a different review for them than the office staff. So a lot of people do that as well. So you could set up a template for job A and a template for job B, or for department A and department B. And so you set up those templates there. So once you make the rating scale and you make the template, the last step would be to be actually launching the review. And to do that, you're going to click set up a review. And in here, I'll just write dog themed review. Easy as that. We have 3 different options in here for types of reviews. Most often I see people do an annual review. And so that's truly choosing an annual review, doing that for a year. You choose 2026, 2025, whatever year you're wanting to review, and assign that to all employees or just a specific department at a time. We have a custom review option. This is for a flexible time frame, such as quarterly or biannual. We also have the introductory period review, which is for, the employee's hire date at 30, 60, or 90 days. So choose one of those options. I'm going to go with annual, and then I'm going to click save and continue. You're truly doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Super easy. So I'm going to choose 2026 and next. So this is where I'm going to choose the template I want to use. So I want to use the tail wag review, and I will hit save and continue. Now, this is where I assign employees. So right now I can choose all of the employees by clicking this box, or I could just do, I just want the marketing managers to fill this out, or filter by department. I just want the tennis dogs to fill this out. So you can do whatever you'd like to do. So I have chosen this, and I'm going to click assign employees. And there we go. That's how I chose which employees will be in this review. And then I will click save and continue. And then once everything looks good, I will click launch, and the review is launched. So now I'm going to go back real quick and show you an actual review that I have launched before. So once you launch it, you have access to the dashboard. So this is a review that's live right now in our demo company, and you can see, there's red, yellow, and green. Red means that neither the employee or supervisor has done the review yet. Yellow means one or the other has, so we can see the employee has done it, but the supervisor has not. And green means both have done it. And then once it turns green, you can actually click this person icon, and it will let you make the review visible if you'd like. So once everybody finishes the review, if you click yes, make it visible, the employee and supervisor and manager can all see the review and see each other's comments. And so I will hit cancel and not actually do that right now. You can also reopen a review. So say somebody says, oh, I forgot to add this. You can hit reopen, and then they can edit and resubmit. And so we also have the option to remove someone from a review. And those are kind of the options right there. So you just have this nice dashboard to see where everybody is. Once a review is done, you also have the option to export the reviews, which is really nice. You can export the reviews in Excel or in PDF. And so you just hit export and you download. So you have all those reviews in one place, and they always stay right here. So that's kind of the overview of the admin side. You can see the dashboard for the current reviews you have going and past reviews, and you have access to see where employees are at during the review.
Yeah, perfect. So as you can tell, this is a really pretty simple platform. It is meant to be streamlined and intuitive. Remick walked through basically all of the admin features within a couple of minutes. And I'm switching over now to the employee side, just showing what the review looks like as an employee and as a supervisor and a manager. But one of the things, I think we said this at the top, but is that this whole system is super clean and simple to use. So with that, I've jumped over to the employee view, and I now, when it's turned on with our demo company, have an option underneath talent management to just click on performance reviews. And I, as an employee and as a supervisor, when I log in here, I just see the pending reviews that I need to complete. Like I said, really, really simple. What we're viewing here is on obviously a desktop view, laptop view, but all of this can also be done from the mobile app, which is really, really great. So first thing I'm going to do is complete my self-review as an employee, which I've actually already started on. So you can see here, my self-evaluation says continue. So I'm going to click on this. And then it's going to load the review and has a little bit of my employee information. It shows that my total rating score is still pending. And like I said, I started on this earlier, but I didn't have a chance to finish. So I get to just walk through the review question by question and complete the sections. So questions here, and then I get to put my rating in and then put a comment. Yes, up in here. We'll go down the line. And again, like Remick said, with all these templates, you can make just ratings, just comments, or you can do both. You see all the other questions here, different sections that have been set up for this. And then we'll scroll down, and when we're ready, we have two options. We can save and exit, save our progress for later, or we can submit the review. So let's go ahead and submit it if we can. And then it tells us that yes, if you submit this, it's going to be locked basically. Then with that, I have just a supervisor evaluation left. So this is a little bit different where I'm an employee, but I'm also a supervisor over Pom Pom Puppy. And I need to complete that employee's performance review. So I'm going to say get started. One of the nice things here is that the employee has already completed their portion of this review. So as their supervisor, obviously, I get the chance to see their answers on it and then, respond or give my thoughts on them. So I'm going to scroll down in here, and I can click on this drop down to see what the employee has, rated themselves. So then I can say, okay, they did a 4. I'm going to give them a 5. They did a great job. We can even say, great job. So it's the same format for this review, kind of going down the line here. I'm not going to walk through all of the questions and answers. They're all kind of silly dog themed ones, in case you hadn't picked up on that. But with that, it's the same format for the review. You scroll down, and then same thing for the supervisor. They have save and exit. They have submit, all the same options as an employee. For now, we're just going to save and exit. The only other thing to show from this view here is that I also have a completed tab, and some of this is not fully set up. It's a demo company, but employees can see when a review cycle has been fully completed. They can see their past reviews as well. And again, all of this just right inside of the platform. So not much to show on the employee side because it's super clean and super simple, but it is, like I said, really intuitive, and we like it for those reasons. Okay.
Yeah, and Cody probably already said this, but I'll emphasize it again. The employee and manager supervisor side can be done in the app, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Because employees can do it anywhere. And Cody, we do have some questions, which is actually going to lead right into what you're about to go over. But one question, the first one from Kelsey, what happens when you have a new employee? Will it auto add? Right now, you have to manually add a new employee. They are, because this is a new product, they are making updates to it. But as of now, you just add them to the review.
Yeah. Those 30, 60, 90-day reviews, Kelsey, are meant to automatically add the employees. I think they're working on that functionality. That is the goal there. Kathy and Stacy, I think, had a similar question of, you currently have Share and Perform, which is kind of the other little bit larger platform. How does it compare to what we already have? Stacy, kind of had the same question there. So let me try and answer that. And then if you guys have follow-ups, please let us know. We put together this slide, and it's just kind of our notes from what we've noticed over the past few months in these platforms of what they both have, what one has, etc. So I'll break it down. Performance Management Essential, what we just showed, the simplified version of things. It does have pretty defined 30, 60, 90-day review periods, which we like that it just clearly defines that. Advantages to using it in comparison to Share and Perform is that you have an assigned supervisor and an assigned manager slot. That's something that you'd have to be in the weeds of Share and Perform to really know that, but that you do not get with Share and Perform. You only have an assigned manager slot, basically. So you have to really use that carefully when you're using Share and Perform. With Performance Management Essential, you can have assigned supervisor and assigned manager giving feedback for one employee in one spot. The other piece that is nice is that the app functionality. Everything stays within inside the app. When employees are using Share and Perform, they can still use their phone to complete any reviews, but when they click the link to go to Share and Perform, it does open up a browser for them to complete things. Just a small thing. It doesn't really affect that much, but it is nice to know you can stay inside the app. I'll hit the both just because these are pretty self-explanatory, but both of these are going to offer you customer review cycles, when and how, who completes it, custom rating scales as far as what can be done, and how you rate employees. All of that can be customized. Obviously, custom question templates. There are predefined templated questions. It's up to you just to set whatever you want. And then obviously they both have the pretty standard annual reviews. Where Share and Perform really shines is that you get a lot more functionality when it comes to some of the deeper performance evaluation, metrics. You get things like 360 reviews. If you haven't used that in Share and Perform, it is pretty unique. Get a full picture of an employee's performance from above, below them, positionally speaking, and then even outside reviewers. You get 9-box leadership potential survey questions that can be added into reviews. In Share and Perform, that's just a setting inside the cycle. You get goal setting and goal tracking. This is one of the big things I think why Share and Perform sometimes is going to be the better solution for clients, is because you can set a goal, you can have Share and Perform send you, email notifications and track those throughout the year. Like we said, assigned supervisor is one of the big things as far as the difference. You can only bring that in as far as an automatically assigned field for someone to complete the review for an employee. And then as mentioned earlier, you get outside reviewers as well. So This is kind of unique. Let's say an employee works with a vendor often, and you want their perspective on that employee's performance, even though they're outside of the organization, you can actually send that vendor a review as an additional reviewer. And then the other big thing inside of this world of reviews is that you get weighted questions inside of Share and Perform. In the templates, you can put 50% of the total rating score needs to go off this 2 questions, this one section. You get the ability to customize that. So I know it's a lot of words, but basically just saying Performance Management Essential is named Essential for a reason. It's really the core, just performance management questions that you can ask questions of an employee and supervisor and manager, and then get the responses back. Share and Perform opens up as far as what you can do when it comes to extensive reviews, 360 reviews, 9-box, all of that.
And we have one more question. It's a great question. If they decide to move from Share and Perform to Performance Management Essential, will the reviews from Share and Perform be saved?
That's a good question, Kelsey. Not by default. They would not just automatically be saved. But if you don't know, in Share and Perform, you can export the reviews for either an individual employee or for all employees. And we could take those reviews, we or you, the client, could take those reviews, upload them to the employee documents, and kind of have the same functionality. So the short answer is no, not automatically, but the longer answer is yes, you could export those and then import them to the employees. Yeah, that's a good question.
Perfect.
Any other questions as we're wrapping?
Perfect. And then if you would like to have Performance Management Essential turned on, you just reach out to your CSR and they will be happy to help set that up for you and get that going. And with that as well, they'll let you know the pricing. Performance Management Essential is less than Share and Perform. But again, if you'd like to get that set up, let your CSR know. And then if you also want to end up switching from Share and Perform to Performance Management, let your CSR know and they can help you out with that.
Yeah, that's right. Reach out to your CSR for the quote on that. Like Remick said, we're generally seeing, depending on your size and your other services, it is definitely cheaper than Share and Perform. But again, the functionality of those two, you have to weigh what works best for your company. But if you have any questions, please just let us know.
Perfect. And now for the most important part.
Yes.
The giveaway.